This is Courtisans. It's a medieval take that game where the setting is the queen is hosting a royal banquet and surrounding her on the table are various families from around the medieval universe, I guess, and it is your job as players to decide whether they are going to end up being an esteemed family or indeed a family that have fallen from grace. It's a really interesting theme, especially for someone like me who comes to the UK where, you know, we're all about that royal family, right? Let's see how it plays. Okay guys, so here we are set up for a game of Courtisans. We're about halfway through the game here, I would say. We've had about 7 turns apiece, and it's now my turn again. Now, at the end of my last turn, I would have drawn 3 cards, so I'm just going to do that very quickly now. So, on my turn, it is very, very simple. I have 3 cards in my hand. I have to play one to my own tableau. I have to place one, or give one of these to one of my opponents about the table. In this one, we've only got 2 players here, and the other one has to be placed onto this central board here, or the table, if you will. This central section here is where obviously the queen is going to be sitting, and she is flanked by 3 different families on either side. The top of the table is going to add up to them being esteemed at the end of the game, giving you positive points. And if they've fallen from grace, they will be placed down to the bottom of the table. If at the end of the game the number of cards is equal, then that family is not going to score. Obviously, if they're further in the esteemed, they're going to be scored positively, and if they're further into the fallen from grace, they're going to be scored negatively. So just to give you a rough idea, here's the 3 cards that I have. These are all special cards, if you so wish. I actually have a spy card here, so when I play this card, no matter where I play it, it is played face down, and then at the end of the game it will be revealed and added to whichever family in whichever location. So what I'm probably going to do here, I think I'm going to take that spy card and I'm going to place it face down on my board here so that no one can actually see that. They don't know what that card is. That leaves me with these 2 cards here. Now obviously my opponent over here has already got some of these green ones, and right now green is in the esteemed area. I don't really want to give him more points, but what I would like to do is take away some points, so that would be really good. And that's what I can do with this one here, because it's got this little dagger symbol on the end. That is an assassin. So if I decide to go, here you go sir, I'm going to give this one to you. Once I've placed that down, I now get the chance to assassinate someone on his board, and it could be any of these cards. However, these ones here that have got like a little shield in the corner, they are not able to be assassinated, so I can't assassinate these ones. It's got a couple of times 2 here, and they're worth 2 points apiece. I don't really like that. But right now I'm focusing on this one. This one's in esteem. I'm going to actually kill off this one. Yes, I've given him a point, but I've removed 2, so that one is gone from the game. That's gone over there. My last card here has to be played on the board. Now, as I said, this one is currently in esteem because it's 2 to the 1. What I'm going to do with my last card, I'm going to play it down here, which means if the game ends right now, for example, we have 2 to 2, which means this family will not score, which means he will lose that 1 point. But to be fair, so will I, so maybe I don't want to do that. That's really annoying. But that will be my turn. That's my entire turn. I would then draw 3 more cards. I get to look at my cards, obviously, because I can sort of sit and plan for the next round. This shuffling is clearly very awful because I've got yet another 2 of these. But now, play would move on to my opponent. They would do exactly the same. The only other way that you can score in this game is actually with these personal objective cards that you'll be given at the start of the game. You're given a white and a blue, and they do various things. I'll try and show you this on the camera. I'm not really sure if it will pick it up, but let's have a look. There we go. That's just one of them. So you must own fewer butterflies than your left neighbour. Well, in the 2-player game, that's not really going to matter, but right now I've got 1, they've got none. Oh no, I'm not going to score that. That's not a good one for me. What about this one? What have we got over here? We've got nightingales must be fallen from grace at court. Well, they are nightingales. They are the red ones. Oh no, they're currently in the esteemed location as well. Right now I'm doing terrible towards my end of game objectives. And that's worth 6 points for me. So I might want to focus on making sure I'm achieving these. Or I might want to focus on making sure my opponent isn't doing so well on the points. I'll never know what their personal objectives are, obviously, but that is the game, right? There is so many variables here. There's a lot of hidden information, and you've got to take that element of you have to play a card to someone else. It might well be, I want to help this person. I don't know why. There's some objectives that say, have less than or more than or whatever it be. It's like, well, if I've got one of these and I can see he's got none and I need them to have more, at some point I've got a white in my hand. Right, well, I'm going to play that over there because now we're equal. I only need one more white one to try and get him ahead of me. And that the added bonus is they're currently fallen from grace, so that's actually going to be negative points for them. So, okay guys, so just very quickly, let's talk about the scoring of this game after we've finished playing through this deck. It will be completely gone, and then we will move on to scoring. The first thing you're going to do is reveal all of the hidden cards that we had throughout the game. Okay, so personal players, there we go. We're going to reveal that. That's going to be added to his red selection. I've got a green and a white, so we're going to add them onto mine. Then we'll do the esteemed ones here. Let's flip those over. So blue's going to get an additional, red's going to get an additional. Reds are doing really well here. What have we got down here? Well, we've got a yellow and we have a green. So that is the final game state of the board. So let's figure out what points we're going to get. So from this side, we have nothing in the esteemed area, which means white is going to be fallen from grace. So these cards here, these two, this one over here, they are worth minus points. I've started off with minus 2 points. That's not great. Then we'll move on to this one. Well, we've got a ×2 up here and a 2 here. They're equal. They are not going to score, which means these are useless. Get rid of them. They're not needed. They're not going to score you anything. These ones here, red is fully in esteem. So this one here is going to be worth 1 point, whereas over here, they're very lucky. They have got a ×2 and 2, so that's 4 points right there. But obviously take into account that they also have that -1, so they're +3 points at the moment. Marvellous. Then over here we've got 2 in the fallen from grace category, which means yellow is fallen from grace. I have no yellow. Fantastic. Oh dear, he has 3. That means he is on -3 points for the yellow, which means overall he is on net 0. Over here we've got 2 down below, 1 at the top. That's still more in the fallen from grace. Green is going to be negative. Oh no, I've got 3 of them. That's -3 points for me. We have esteemed with blue. I gain 1 more point back for blue, 1 more point over there. That was a really bad scoring round, let's be completely honest, but I wonder really whether either of us would have gained points based on our personal objectives. So I would have had Nightingales must be fallen from grace at court. I failed at that one. That one's absolutely useless. What about this one? You must own fewer butterflies than your left neighbour. I don't. I failed on that one. I've done terribly. He's probably won this game by 1 or 2 points or something like that. But there you go. That is the end of game scoring. Obviously, it's not always going to be as tight as that. It's not always going to be as negative as that. Sometimes if you've got nothing but esteemed people, it could come down to a point. Sometimes you'll find everyone shoves cards at the bottom, so you just end up with lots of negative stuff. It's great. It changes every single time. That is how you score in the game anyway. Let's go and talk about components. So guys, the components for this game, for the most part, this is a card game, right? And they have given you a playmat as well. Now, when we talk about playmats, we're usually talking about neoprene playmats, right? This is not a neoprene playmat. This is actually a fabric playmat, which is great for the theme. However, I'm going to say it is a bit of a downer for me because, unfortunately, as you can probably see, this is quite creased, right? And I have ironed this a couple of times now before actually coming on camera. It's just not having it, right? This is rolled up quite tightly in order to fit inside this small little box that it comes in, and you will always end up with these creases and stuff, and you just don't get that with a neoprene mat. Neoprene would have been better quality. It wouldn't have fit the theme as much. I fully understand that, but really for gameplay wise it would have been better. You don't have cards sliding underneath, and that's just really kind of annoying. While I get the theme, I would rather have had either a board or a neoprene mat, right? As for the cards, they are pretty good quality. They're obviously not standard size cards. I think they might be tarot cards. I could be wrong. I'm not 100%. The backings of the cards are really, really nice. You've got the symbols of the various different houses there. The cards themselves feel pretty good. You've got these ones here, which are like the special double cards, and they've got a nice sort of UV finish printing on certain bits of it. So spot printing on that makes that really, really cool. So yeah, that's it. That's it for the components. I mean, let's look at the box. Let's try and drag this out a little bit. It is a nice little compact box. The artwork on the front is nice. Everything's displayed on the back. You've got a nice little rules video QR code there. And if we pop this open, just to have a quick look, this is the way it's laid out. You've got all your personal objective cards go here, your tarot style cards go here, and then the mat squeezes in that little gap right there. That's probably why you get all of those folds, because it is a very, very tight gap, but it does fit nicely inside this box with no box lift or anything like that when it's in there. So there you go. That is the components of Courtisans. Let's go back to the facing camera and give you our final thoughts on this game. So guys, there we are. That is Courtisans, how to play Courtisans, and a little look at the components of this game. Now let's have a little talk about our final thoughts here. Now, obviously, Courtisans is not a particularly heavy game. It is, in fact, a very quick filler game, which is the kind of game we actually quite like here at the Meeple Minded. I find it very hard to actually create a very good filler game, and this one does seem to tick quite a lot of the boxes. It is let down a little bit by the component quality, really, with regards to that mat. It's that mat that causes the issue. Since you've seen some video footage, I have ironed this again, and it is back to being creased, having been in the box another time. So unless you're willing to iron this every single time you want to get this game out to play, that is going to be a bit of a niggle. That being said, let's talk about whether I think this game is worth it and the replay value of it, because this is not an expensive game. I haven't seen how much this is actually going for right now. I think it's about the £20 mark. I could be wrong. It does seem a little bit steep for if it is around that sort of price, but there is some replay value here. You know, you've got this sort of half decent sized decks of, you know, personal objectives, which will always be different when they're shuffled and handed out to the different players. You know, these do vary with the things. They're all worth 3 victory points, so that's it's not like you're going to be given one that's amazing compared to someone else. But you know, toads must be fallen from grace, butterflies must be fallen from grace. You know, that's obviously these ones here. There's a lot of must be fallen from grace. At least one card in each family must be below the game mat. You know, a family must have at least 5 cards below the game mat. That's 2 very, very different ones there. You know, you've got so many different personal objectives here that's going to add to your replay value. If you're always going to play this with the same group, then yes, that is going to affect your play value, I think, because once people know how you play, you know how they play, you're always going to act in a way that counteracts the way that they play, right? You know, I know that my group is quite a bit like me, in fact, so it's like a lot of the games we've been playing, we've ended up having the Fallen from Grace section is far more full of cards than the Esteemed section. I don't know why, we just like making everyone fall from grace. Maybe it's because rich people deserve to come down a peg or two, who really knows? But there you go, that is just an example really of how, if you're playing with people that are of much of the same player type as you, it is going to affect your gameplay. The rulebook for this game is actually pretty good. It's this here pamphlet. It's not a lot. It's very clear. It's very crystal clear as to what it is you've got to do. The setup's nice and simple. It tells you piece by piece, word for word, what you need to do and when. The gameplay, as we said, is very, very simple, very, very easy to understand. 8+ on this game, I think I agree with that. 20-minute playtime, again, I actually think I agree with that. I'm very, very impressed with how quickly this game can be played, and more importantly, I'm really, really impressed with the fact that every time I have played this game, without fail, the question has been asked, can we play this again straight away? And that is telling. That tells me that this game is good, and that tells me that Courtisans is worth your time and your money. Thank you very much for watching what we have been doing here today. If you do like what you see, don't forget to, do all that YouTube goodness, comment, subscribe, give it a like, give it a dislike if you don't like it. And until next time, I have been Jason, you have been watching The Meeple Minded, and we will see you on the next one.